Hey, how's it? In the name of Jesus Christ. How you doing? It's Karabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're Stella. And I hope you're in a neat little bunch. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be nibbling away at some fruit. It's currently it's almost 8:30 at night, and this is my first meal. I gotta eat a little to break my fast. Plus, I want to be able to get my fruit in. I don't want to wait until later. Anyhow, oh goodness, wow. So it's the 7th of February 2024, and I hope you are aware of that. If not, makes sense since I don't upload on the same day. Anyway, let me just put some caveats out there. I very potentially might be wearing application makeup. If I am, you will absolutely know, because it's going to be gawking at you, bouncing up and down on my face, making like an unruly devil worshipper. I'm not shape-shifting. It's an app. Relax. Okay. What else? Oh yeah. Okay. That had to come out. Yeah, I think I prefer the lip color slightly darker. Good. Did it. My captions. I have captions. Captions. Look out for them. They're not always accurate. They're not always accurate. Sometimes they are not very reverential. They use a small G for God, you know? Not something I would do, but don't nobody care that I ain't got no time to be doing no edits, so we paste them with bad captions. I'm kidding. Anyway, one day's one day. Should the Lord award me that one day? Know what I'm saying? Because right now I'm going squint because everybody's wreaking havoc in my life. What else? Money. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't be taking no chances on me, 'cause then I will punch you. You will run into my knife. I'm just saying, don't do it. You're making me violence. It ain't right. I'm only human. If you prick me, I bleed. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Look at that. Did I prosper to blush my cheeks? That's what my cheeks are when they sound like that when you prink them. It's just evidence of the fact that I'm suffering. So stop my cheeks make that noise because I'm in pain. Like, booyah. Look at that. Evidence that if you slap me, I will probably react. So why are you doing it? Not really sure. Okay. Amen. I don't have decorum because I'm poor. I don't understand why people put me in poverty. I'm poor and I'm suffering, so I just burp. I'm not saying all the poor and all the suffering just burp. I'm just saying when I suffer, I burp. You know what, y'all? I don't understand why people are nasty. And that stuff is not okay. Like, what's so great about being nasty? Exactly. Let's just do an interview out here about nastiness. Like, this one is so sweet. Drop the ball. Like South Africa, just like that. Boom. Explosion. It was so sweet that I had to dance. It was a victory dance because I ate some sweet fruit. So you don't think it's worthy of victory? I say it's worthy! Anyway, you know, we're not doing this. Except it appears we are. No. Anyway. You know, guys, I don't understand people who don't cut up fruit in half or first to check if there's no worms in the center or y'all gonna be met with some problems, challenges out here biting into a pear just like that. You gonna meet a maggot and that worm dieth not unless it's in your mouth. Don't eat maggots. Don't do it. It's like witches. Don't know why they start doing witchcraft, because that's like eating maggots. Is that like a thing, a dish? In your country. In your devil-worshipping country. Seeing as the Kingdom of Darkness is a whole country on its own. What's your eating maggots? It's like fear factor. Look, I'm tired. I'm exhausted from all this persecution. Attack. Harassment. Ridiculousness. And more. I'm very exhausted. Hey. Anyway, you know, I don't really know when any of this stuff is gonna end. But when people are sick and tired, they're sick and tired. They're sick and tired. When they're sick and tired, they're sick and tired. And I'm sick and tired. Are you sick and tired? Are you sick and tired? Are you sick and tired? I mean, it's literally, it's a valid question. It's a valid question. Huh? Are you sick and tired? Are you? But you are living dangerous, aren't you? You are living dangerous. I don't really know why people are living dangerous, but they are. I am living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. I can't multitask. That took up like a whole 10 minutes. It's because I am living dangerous. Anyway, whatever, dangerous ones. I'm done. I should just stop this video right here, the way I'm just so done. I'm gonna put this plate away. They are living dangerous. Even my hair be out of living dangerous. Anyway, I don't know, you know, guys. I don't know why people like living dangerous. Not dangerously, but like dangerous. Anyway, they are living dangerous. Dangerous. They are living dangerous, dangerous. Okay, I had to blow the nose. Look, I'm exhausted, and you know, at all this creepy activity, you are living dangerous. I'm just saying. Like, all this dangerous. You are living dangerous. Okay, I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know. Like, I'm sick and tired of all this dangerous activity, but like, it's not sick and tired of itself. You are living dangerous. Dangerous. That had to happen. You are living dangerous. You had to give a lawyer. Me busy going back to the drawing board. Le busy le holla back to the drawing board, yeah. Le busy le holla bam 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 bam. In the jungle you must wait until the tissues save a duck. Boom boom boom. You are living dangerous. And people be living dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Danger. You are living dangerous. Okay, look, whatever. Do you if you wanna live dangerous, okay? But what's important is that I'm not doing dangerous anymore. Me, I left the world. So we don't do dangerous. Hey, this thing, why doesn't it sit the way I want it to sit? Sit, sit. Make like a flower and bloom. Ogupila danger, danger. Danger like the stranger, stranger. It is danger like the stranger, stranger. Living so dangerous, yeah. They are living dangerous. They are living dangerous. They are living dangerous. They are living too dangerous. Do you like that? Oh, my hairstyle is living dangerous. My hairstyle is living dangerous. Okay, look guys, I've got a white cost sunscreen. It's my sunscreen and it's saying I'm gonna do what I wanna do at a time that I wanna do it. You're not gonna tell me what to do. Because people are living dangerous. Dangerous. Woo-hoo. I'm not feeling the fact that people be living dangerous. My cousin is living dangerous. She's in some fire. Like, that chickie be like, I am living dangerous. She's even got bravado with that danger. Like, she out here bashing her chest. I am living dangerous. Even Karabo, I'm coming for you with a wish you could have too. Goodness gracious, that done caused some problems on my chest. I'm feeling sick. Because somebody's living dangerous. I have a cousin that's living dangerous because she's literally on the precipice of death. Because I went to her like, Chiki, you are living dangerous. Even a cousin, I'm telling you right now, you are living dangerous. Y'all need to understand I'm shielded by the God of the universe. I am sick and tired of people thinking that it's only a matter of time before I do certain things. All I can say to you is, you are living dangerous. You are living dangerous, guys. You are skating on thin ice. In fact, you are inside the ice in the fridge, about to pass away from some hypothermia, but nah, you brave. You are living dangerous. I'm a tase. Y'all need to understand, I'm not just a tase, but I'm a bullet wound. I am so very many things, and yet people think that it's only a matter of time before I settle for some strange stuff. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. Dangerous. Woo-hoo. I have a cousin that's living dangerous. And it could see a thing, yo, it will get okay. Every time this chick gon' get hurt, cousin. Okay, as in, like, you are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. Hey, she's living not even dangerously. She's just living dangerous. Let's all live my life. Y'all need to understand you gonna get hurt something bad. You gonna get hurt something bad. The Bible makes it clear, that though the righteous man may fall 7 times, he gets up each time. But the wicked are suddenly overcome by calamity. Like, it's sudden and it's overnight. And so when you keep on ransacking a child of the living God, you are living dangerous. Y'all are living dangerous. I have a cousin who she is living dangerous, and she's on this tip now with danger and like she's in so much cozy. She's in so much danger that she's even like, cause we has hamba, so she's giving it all she got. She gonna die. It's that basic. That chick be living dangerous. Why are you living dangerous? Somebody tell me what's up. Why you watch your living dangerous? You are living dangerous. You gonna have some problems with this dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. Stop with the danger, dangerous. You are living dangerous. Little Tokafal, Lankut, stop living dangerous. Because if you don't stop living dangerous, it's not going to be Karabo that neutralizes your dangerous. It's going to be the God of the universe. Though the righteous man may fall 7 times, the wicked are suddenly overcome by calamity. Come quickly, Lord Jesus, is only stuff that is spoken of in the scriptures, because that's literally what God usually comes as when he does come, when he does rescue, when he does finally do something, because he tarried for the sake of the wicked repenting. You who are living dangerous will find yourself suddenly in the abyss. And I have a cousin that I will have been telling for a minute that she's living dangerous. Girl, stop living dangerous. I will have been telling her to stop living dangerous for so long that when she finally lands in the abyss, she's gonna be like, oh, nah, I guess I was living dangerous. And now I'm dangerously, eternally condemned. Tlogelang ho ntso go beya bana ba morena Jesu kotsing, cause ke lona bele tipeya kotsing. Stop putting God's children in danger, cause you're the ones that are living dangerous when you do that. You are literally living dangerous, and I don't know why you keep on living dangerous. I am living dangerous. I'm living dangerous. I'm living danger. I'm living dangerous. That's all I've got to say. Like proper. Leave us alone. Because if you don't want to leave us alone, you are living dangerous. Leave us alone. Yes, and you feel dangerous. Y'all don't believe me. It's all good in the hood. You don't guys to believe me, but at the end of the day, Uma uzo pila dangerous. It is my prerogative to keep on warning you all the way up until you go to hell. Literally, people tend to get told that they're en route hell all the way up until they breathe their last. All the way up until it's like finally over. Living dangerous. All the way up until it's done with. The situation has been eradicated. The comatose conglomerate is now finally coded, so ain't no need to be putting this thing on machines that life support anymore. Let's call it. Like, what time is it? Okay, whatever. Let's go bury some people. Let's have a funeral. You are living dangerous. And I just feel as if though all the Scotty, I'm tired of talking about it. Wicked men, wicked women, listen up. Cousin Yaka, do like if it pits it like she udlanza chichiriza icing. She's always out here like sliding on some ice. She's always out here skating on it. She's always out here like tripping on it. And so far she hasn't fallen altogether, and so she imagines that it's only a matter of time before I do what she wants me to do. Girl, you are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You are living dangerous. You're living dangerous. Stop living so very dangerous. Because you even make some people's eyes twitch. I don't know how long I have to keep on talking to darkness. To those in the darkness on some ding. dangerous. Y'all gonna get hurt, something bad. You are living on the corner of a very tall building, tap dancing. That's what you're doing. You're tap dancing at the uppermost floor of the highest, tallest building with no railings encircling you, nothing. You're just tap dancing. You keep on jumping up and down like a ballerina at the precipice of the end of your life. You are living dangerous. You're living dangerously. People in the Word of God that have perpetually pursued God's children for so many years that God's kids imagined it was over for them. There was just absolutely no way out because they had been crying and praying and crying and praying to God. And it appears that God was not coming through for them. They are living dangerous. So I'm being pursued by Pinky. Y'all are probably wondering, girl, what are you talking about? I'm gonna get to a point. I've already highlighted the thing with Pinky in the past before, but I'm going to bring it forward again. My cousin is a supporter of Pinky, but let me just help you understand what Pinky even is at this particular point, okay? She's living dangerous. Yeah, just as is Pinky living dangerous, but I would not even be in a position to be pursued by Pinky if at all I was not placed in dangerous positions by dangerous women with a dangerous agenda. So we're gonna speak about that. There was a time when I was subscribed for a free trial on Showmax, that streaming platform in this country, and so I decided to watch this one movie called Pinky. And the only reason I wanted to watch this movie, Pinky, was because Pinky was like a whole total thing in the 90s when I was growing up. Okay, in South Africa, there was this haunting in girls' bathrooms that was so prolific and so totally real. Like it was a horror story that was actually true. It was true. Like the Amityville horror. If you're American, you would know that Amityville horror story is real. There was actually demonic activity going on there. There was actually haunting activity happening in that environment, evidencing that indeed we war not against flesh and blood. Like ghosts are real, except they're not dead people, they're demons. Hauntings are real, they're not dead people, they're demons, they're fallen angels. There, you get my point. Well, there was demonic activity doing its rounds in schools, little schools, primary schools largely, but sometimes even high schools, when we were growing up. And I don't know what has ever since then happened with that demonic activity, whether or not it's been exorcised, but it was such a true story that it made it on mainstream media news. Yes, it was covered by news anchors in some pretty reputable news networks in the country. It was carried by newspapers in this country that are actually quite reputable. By reputable, I'm not speaking Daily Sun out here covering Daily Sun. I can't really say that it's not reputable, but everybody knows it's out here covering scandals of weird little creepy stuff happening in the black community. I live in Africa, South Africa to be exact. In South Africa, Africa in totality, there is a really big bad problem with witchcraft, especially among black people, such that we don't just brush off spiritual activity as easily as a lot of Western cultures do, because of the fact that literally almost every Jane and Joe in these streets practices. They are aware of it. They're pretty aware of the existence of spirits because they're always just citing freaky things. They're always just going through freaky stuff. Yeah, especially in the rural areas, or at least it used to be the case, especially in the rural areas historically. Now it's come into the inner cities, the suburbia, because people done gone and made like migrant laborers and taken all their junk out of the plazzies and moved them into the inner city. So now there's hauntings in like the center of Johannesburg. But historically, there used to be largely concentrated spooky supernatural activity in the rural areas. And the reason why this is the case is because people in the rural areas, thanks to their poverty and lack of entertainment, lack of busyness, and such limitedness of resources, etc., turned to spirits in order to try and get their agendas proliferated. It was very hard. Networking did not quite do much for you. You could not just like hook up a Facebook page or a LinkedIn profile to get seen. You needed to do what you can with what limitedness you have in your ecosystem. So a lot of people turned to darkness for that. Spirits that would manifest physically that which was desired by people, however, having been first fetched from the spirit realm. So supernatural activity is well understood as such in the rural areas. But if you don't come from there, you'd be like really nicely spooked. Okay. I had these cousins that once traveled to Rustenburg. That's where my grandmother is from originally, right? So there's family that side, but I don't think there's any family left that side anymore. I think everybody's just died off that was old and stuff. That side, like Abokoko, and now everybody's like actually in these pinvils and all these like Redipots, whatever. We're actually in Johannesburg, scattered all over the show. But historically, when my grandmother's family was still largely some of it was still staying in Rustenburg, sometimes my family members extended would travel to Rustenburg. And I had these cousins that went there, our age cousins, yeah. And when they came back, they told us all of these tall stories. Can't really say that they were tall tales. I did not know whether or not to believe them. They were not ones into just random lying out of nowhere. But they spoke about how when they were driving en route to Rustenburg, of which is a bundu, a rural area. They went to the plazis of Rustenburg, not even the urbanized sections of it, where it is that people pee and do the number 2 in a long drop, like basically a makeshift toilet where they dig a hole in the ground and stuff like that. Yeah, that backward, that yet to be developed type atmosphere, real plazy lives. And when they were driving there, they were in a combi. They had hired a driver to drive them, and so all of them were just like hanging, chilling, and like, you know, like passengers in this car as this guy was driving to Rusty Dusty. And in en route Rustenburg, there's no street lamps and stuff like on the side of the road. Like there are entire long stretches of highway road in this country that do not have illumination at night. There's no light, there's no poles, nothing. You know, it's an infrastructural issue, it's a South African building issue, it's a problem, yeah. But there's no lights, so you driving out in what would be the tenement of the country, and it's just pitch black at night, super pitch. But the whole environment is illuminated by stars. There's a lot more stars that side. Why? Because there's less pollution. Anyway, here it is that these people are driving in clear night skies with great stars, but no street lamps. And this driver is out here driving a vehicle full of people that are sleeping. It's at night that they're driving. They're sleeping because they hired a driver so that they could do just that, sleep en route Rustenburg. And my cousins and co, like there was something like 5 of them. It was my cousins and their parents. They were suddenly stopped by like inertia, like just suddenly dead brake stopping. Yeah, very well. So everybody wakes up thinking, goodness, we've entered into a car accident. But no, there was no such thing as that. It wasn't a vehicle accident, but there was literally just like some figure that stopped in front of their car all of a sudden and just made the driver be like, gee. And when the driver was like, gee, they all woke up. Oh, but what's happening? And the driver was like, Nebona, do you see what I'm seeing? And they all looked to the front, and indeed, lo and behold, there was this like figure, this ghostly woman just standing there. And they were tempted to get out and ask what's going on with this woman. Is this like an issue? Like, yeah, Gwenzagalani, Lana. But then something told the driver, we're not stopping, I'm sorry, like who in the world just stands in front of a car in the middle of the night like this? So they decided to go around the lady, and they go around the lady, and lo and behold, when they look back, the lady is still there, but this time around she's with somebody else, and there's like 2 of them, so don't nobody know where the second person came from, and they were hovering. They did not have feet, they did not have legs, there was nothing underneath there, just ghostly creatures lingering, just dangling in midair. And that's when my cousins and them were like, oh my goodness, that was a ghost. We literally just saw a ghost. And then a second one came when we went around her. If at all we had run into that woman, we probably were not even going to hit anything. We were not going to hit anything. We were just going to go straight through it. And that's just one of many stories that I have heard coming from people that side of town. My grandmother, who also came from Rustenburg, used to always tell us that every time we see a ghost or something, we must just tell it to leave us alone. Literally have a conversation with a ghost, and then it'll leave us alone. Who in the world is trying to talk to a ghost? You just run scared. But my grandmother was thoroughly into the business of counseling us how to deal with ghosts. Even when she was in Johannesburg, we never go Soweto. We never saw any ghosts in the house that we were living in Soweto. But my grandmother grew up in the rural areas of Rusty Dusty and was literally trained 101 how to deal with ghosts. Okay, yeah. That I personally have never seen a ghost. I have seen a shadow figure just kind of passing by the side of my eye once when I was living in Naturina in the season of mine with all of this suffering. And that's the closest thing I've ever seen to a ghost. And even then, I could even blame it on perhaps, you know, lighting. I don't know. Like every so often you have like a blind spot here that would make you feel like, you know, lighting. It feels like maybe it's just like a shadow passing, but it looked like a whole girl, a woman that was fully grown, a black figure just swooshing past. Immediately after that, I was like, God, you know I'm not that girl. Please, I don't want to see stuff. I can dream it. I can see it in a vision, but do not let me see things in waking life because I'm not going to survive. Ever since then, I've not seen anything of that nature ever again. Neither have it like in waking life, because God, I guess, honored the fact that I cannot be seeing ghosts. I can't. I already have a very active dream space. I already have a very active vision space. I already have a very active spiritual space that is respectably, obviously not of this plane. I don't want to see these things in this plane. I don't want to see them. But I do know that they exist only because I'm a Christian. Only because I'm a Christian and I believe what the Bible has to say about them, because I have not personally dealt with them, but I've been scared a whole bunch by people telling me all of these urban legends in the come up. Now, I spoke about all that at length about ghosts and whatnot in Rusty Dusty to help you understand just the prolific amount of devil worship that happens among black people, especially when they're in poverty. It is so bad that they open little portals wherever it is that they're at, seeing as they practice so much darkness, and these entities break through into our plane. They chill in the earthly plane and leave their second heavens plane, and then they stay there. They like to be amidst human beings living on our earth when we allow them corridors to enter. And there's no better way to invite spirits into your earth than through satanic practices, than through witchcraft practices. That's what I'm getting at. And in the rural areas of Africa, much of Africa, there's quite a lot of that being practiced, such that people who live in the rural areas are constantly just sighting stuff. They're always just seeing things. Do you understand? Hauntings, things that go bump in the night, ghosts, ditigoloshi, like, yeah. My grandmother, in the beginning stages of our upbringing in that house, Kotladi Soweto, we used to put bricks or the tin, like paint cans, underneath our beds, because apparently, allegedly, that was how you protected yourself from digoloshis. Like when people have such hard knock superstitions to a point where they would literally mess with the aesthetics of their house to put bricks underneath a bed. So these short little demons don't hop onto your bed while you sleep at night and interrupt you. Evidence is that that is not just a suspicion, but a true belief. It's not just a myth. It can't be a myth, because if at all it was a myth, according to stats, it's bizarre to conclude that something like that is a myth when it is that richly held by so many people where it is that there is nothing in it for them. It's a statistically bizarre inference to make, because it's that improbable that a whole community, a whole village would in concert agree that something is a thing when there is no incentive for them to roll in that belief, when there is nothing in it for them to believe that, and when it would be ideal if such a thing as that was not real, and then they insist that it is, and they go out of their way to provide accounts or evidence of it. It is bizarre to infer that this thing is not real. It's highly likely true, which is why I don't understand why anybody believes that the earth is flat, for the same reasons. And also, which is why it is that in 2024, well, let's rather say 2023, take a little bit of a rewind, there was a whole congressional hearing in the United States of America about the existence of alien biologics discovered, and that this thing has likely been a case since pretty much New Mexico, Roswell, all those alien sightings that they went and inferred people were crazy concerning having, all of those abductions that people claim they were endured under, that were reported by so many people in concert, especially in certain concentrated regions. They first put it under the carpet and blamed them as kind of loco, only for them to rock up in 2023 with a whole congressional hearing in America saying, hey guys, it's likely very true that aliens are real. So that alone just proves that when people claim something is real and it's in concert and there's lots of them and there is nothing in it for them to come to that agreed consensus in a lie, there's no reason why they would lie. It is therefore science to infer that what they're telling is true. It's just that it is yet to be backed up by empirical evidence. And here it is that we rocked up in 2023 and we discovered empirical evidence because David Grosh decided to go and give his testimony at that congressional hearing in the US last year. And now there's all these other sightings that everybody's talking about, and people are coming on board to believe it more and more because bigger and bigger and more important people are talking about it. So if enough people raise an issue, it's likely true. I was not always this smart, however, neither this educated, and so there was a time when I believed that the whole black community was just silly and that they were all into myths and ghosts. I came to believe that ignorance is bliss and these things aren't true. Witchcraft is not real, even though I grew up with it being spoken about like no man's business in the black community. My grandmother personally used to have a big fat thing about hair. Like whenever it is that we would comb our hair, she would always be like, "Dopa miriri wa gago, pick up your hair and flush it down the toilet, otherwise ba tlo go loya ka miriri." So we grew up being very neat that way with hair, making sure that after combing everything is in the bathroom, in the toilet, not even in the dustbin, lest we should get bewitched. Because she was the super paranoid one that grew up in the center of spiritual harlotry, where people were just doing what they want and opening little portals and enduring, therefore, citizens of Rustenburg to all of this haunting, all of these demonic, attacks. But we were in Joburg, we were in Soweto. So for those reasons, we were in Gauteng. I don't know if you want to call Soweto Johannesburg. It sort of is. Okay. Yeah. We were there. So for those reasons, we like nothing because we were in the cities. We were in urbanized society. We did not see stuff. I personally did not witness anything strange or ominous. Kosoweto, where I was growing up, just stories, nje. I just heard stories. All we heard was stories, but they were never backed up. So when I became a teenager, an older lady, able to make my own decisions in life, I came to what I imagined to be a sound conclusion that no such thing exists, that witchcraft does not exist, that it's not real, and I was not to feel something that doesn't even exist. And people who pay too much attention to it, really, frankly, whatever. You're just disturbing your own peace. Like, you're disturbing your own peace. Thank God I got saved first before I believed that witchcraft was real, because most people don't get saved first. If I had come to believe that witchcraft was real prior to salvation, I would have done what most black people do when they discover that witchcraft actually does work. I would have gone and turned to witchcraft to deal with witchcraft. I would have gone to turn to disangoma ukungivikela to basically protect me. I would have gone to spiritists, people who do all of these psychotic things. I would have gone to them to try and find protection in them. So I got saved first, and then only I was like, whoa, this stuff was real this whole time. So my salvation made it that I never, ever, ever dabbled with witchcraft, because I came to understand where it's coming from, the source. It was demonic. It is satanic. Entities, fallen angels, what is this, like hauntings, funny little sightings, all that stuff. I accrued it to the kingdom of darkness. It was neat. It was put in one little package that I could put to the side. I was able to file it, like in a whole what do you call this, like library under Kingdom of Darkness. I was able to file it in one neat space without having to deal with all of these theories that are being thrown around as to what this stuff is, confusing the living daylights out of myself with doctrines of demons and destructive heresies. I came to believe in the one truth, the one way, the one life. No one comes to the Father but by him, and anticipated that anything else that's not him is satanic. So like I said, I just filed it all under the Kingdom of Darkness, and it helped me not be tossed to and from by every wind of doctrine like most black people endured through all of these satanic heresies. Okay, very well. Because of all of the haunting activity in the Boondoos and in the Blasies, black folk have ever since then imagined that it is somehow concealable and somehow reasonable to imagine that the stuff will always be suspected as Ntozaba Tobacco Mahayeng Fela, something that is for the people there in the Boondoos only. Yeah. So then we got all of these like migrant laborers. I like to call them migrant laborers. All of these people that come from Limpopo, Rustenburg, basically the Blasies, the Bundus of South Africa. Yeah, they come, they leave where it is that they grew up to find work opportunities, employment in the inner city, in Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg, basically the major cities of this country. They go over there, but goodness gracious, they do not, just like my grandmother, leave their superstitions behind. They absolutely do not leave their superstitions behind. They train them to churn and all that jazz, even though there's no such hefty spiritual activity going on in the cities. But some of them do not only rock up with their superstitions, training children how to avoid, being caught by the thing that goes bump in the night, but they also in and of themselves were the perps in their town, were they not? They were the perps in the town that they were living in. Laba Puma Kona Laya Rusty Dusty. Where they come from there in Rusty Dusty, where they come from there in the Limpops, yeah, they were not just victims of witchcraft, but perps. I spoke the other day about how it is that people in the rural areas are happy to go and literally stone a person to death because of practicing witchcraft, because they cause so much distress, they cause so much haunting in the lives of people that if they bust you doing witchcraft in that region, they will literally kill you. They will necklace you, they will put a tire around your body, put paraffin around it, and then burn it. So because literally they cause so much strife in those regions to a point where there's hauntings. Like I told you, my cousins claimed to, upon one time going to Rustenburg, as they were getting closer and closer to Rusty Dusty, encountered this ghostly figure in this middle of the street, causing the driver to screech dead brake. And for them to wake up and see these things for what they were, and then they came back and told the story. In concert, they could have just agreed to scare everybody and tell a silly story that's not true. But like I said, statistically bizarre. It's highly unlikely, and there's also nothing in it for them to go and in concert agree about this particular thing. There was no incentive for the mom to lie, just as the children were lying. Everybody was telling the story. So like I said, bizarre to conclude that they were liar, pants on fire, sit on a telephone wire. That whole thing that causes all that ominous satanic activity, I'm doing edits up tops just in case you're wondering, that whole thing that causes all that ominous satanic activity in that region has made a lot of people very averse and therefore excruciatingly hateful, resentful of those who practice these arts, because they make the lives of the villagers rough. So they are happy to literally murder them. These perps, therefore, of sorcery, understand that wherever it is that they travel these streets, they have got to be very discreet, clandestine. They gotta hide their dingy behavior, just as it was frowned upon in the Bundus. It will highly likely continue to be frowned upon when you rock up with it in the burbs. So ain't nobody being a migrant laborer. Y'all know that they are migrant laborers, right? That's what's good. I'm not just sounding like an American complaining about the northern border. Stay away from us, you Mexican and you Chinese. Anyway, stay away from us, you migrant laborers. Don't come to the inner city. They like the border crisis in America. They like the Chinese recorded on TikTok. Military-aged men coming to change the voting demographics of America. Because that's what they did. That's literally what they did. If you do not know what I'm talking about, just watch the news. In the US, there's like a whole northern border issue. In Texas, like everybody is coming in. And it is clear that they're trying to change the voting demographics of America by letting everything just come in. So it's problematic. Yeah, it's really problematic. And even the Supreme Court there has said that the Joe Biden, the state, has got a right to remove the barbed wire that Texas put up, etc. The local government there, blah blah. And migrant laborers, the way that they brought witchcraft into the burbs, it's like they remind me of the border crisis in America. Somebody was supposed to prevent them from coming. Somebody was supposed to stop them. Like there was supposed to be a tantamount of a governor about working tooth and nail and states supporting him to prevent the influx of military-aged men that are Chinese and Iranian and whatnot from coming in order to change the voting demographics of the nation. But now they brought them into Joburg, gave them citizenship so they can one day vote. And now, like, Johannesburg stinks. Like, so sorry. Now Johannesburg stinks like witchcraft. Now there's hauntings in Joburg, yo. Like, I kid you not, it's proper exactly what's gonna happen to America. All of those people flooding into the northern border, coming from everywhere, including China. They are out just sending their soldiers onto US soil, and Biden is letting them come in. He's just trying to give them visas and green cards and whatever it is that he can. Yeah, ultimately there's gonna be a war. Like, proper, Americans are gonna be displaced. They're gonna end up as refugees. They're gonna leave their own country because it's gonna be war there. I spoke about that yesterday, and that's exactly what has happened in South Africa. That's literally exactly what's happened in South Africa. These migrant laborers, and when I say migrant, yo, I'm not even speaking about, they were not from outside of the country, they were from in the country, but they should have just stayed in the places. They should have just stayed in the places. All of these people from the Bundus should have just stayed there. Leave us alone in Soweto. Don't come to Soweto. Don't come. Don't. Leave the cities alone, please. We don't want you. I'm sorry. I'm sounding so wrong. Right now I'm just sounding wrong. But it's not a lie. Y'all, it ain't a lie. It is not a lie. It's not a lie. Think about what open borders have done in America. Now just think about it. Like, literally, they've converted the USA. They've converted a whole bunch of Christians, professing Christians in America, to Muslims. It has converted, like, American youth into pro-Palestinian mongrels. Like, you need to hear, guys. Granny Cat, come on, give me peace, yo. I'm trying to tell a story here, girl. And you keep on fostering to come inside because of not controlling the borders properly in America. The US is literally about to die as a country. It is hating of Israel. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the reason why that sentiment has changed, that the American patriotism has literally been filed down, is because of the fact that Americans have been watered down by letting their youth get indoctrinated by outside ideology. That's literally what happened to America. And I'm not even going to say that it's what's happening to America. It has happened. It's a done deal. It's finished. They have filed down on Christianity. They have invited all different kinds of random rubbish because they've allowed their children to get trained by Osama bin Laden. Like, that's what you need to understand. That's what happened. And it's still happening through this liberal random president called Joe Biden. And so now they're facing the status of being refugees one day in the future because they're going to have to leave their own country because it's no longer habitable. It's literally been invaded. It's that basic. And in South Africa, the equivalent of that is all of these migrant laborers. I'll call them migrant laborers because when I used to do, was it history? Yeah, it was history in grade 9. Grade 9. Yeah, when I did history, we learned about, the beginnings of South Africa, Johannesburg, and all that jazz. How it is that this city of ours was built, and it was built by migrant laborers. And migrant laborers were people who did not live in Johannesburg, but in the Bundus, in the rural areas. And there were cheap labor from there that came to build Gold Reef City. They mined Gold Reef City. They built the skyscrapers. The city that we know today was built by people from people from Komagayeng, from the Bundus, from Rusty Dusty, from Limpopo. Yeah, they all fled here, came here because it was a place, a hub of employment. There was work in a way that there wasn't in the rural area. So these men would leave their wives there and come to Johannesburg to work, and then they just kind of settled here. They stayed, and then I guess it is what it is that we have the demographics in the city now. So I call them migrant laborers jokingly because they literally remind me of migrant laborers. They leave their wives and kids, Kodi Plazing, Rustenburg, still busy out fetching water Mlanjeni, and then they come and they sit at Josie Maboneng. But they don't come as people looking for employment, honestly trying to work. They're like undocumented aliens, do you understand? They rock up here and they come with the practices of the Bundus. They come here back on the rural area. Like, y'all, I'm sorry, wait again, y'all might consider me to be tribalist at this point, but Johannesburg has been invaded by Bundu-fied people. Abantu bale rusty dusty, bafike Soweto. They rocked up, chilled in the Wedo. They hung out among us. Got Deep Kloof, got Pimville, got Tladi, got Protea. And then they just started to bewitch the whole freaking Soweto. And then after black people were out just flooding to the suburbs, they then bewitched the burbs. And now witchcraft is chilling in the inner city in a way that is like, as in, it's because you then let undocumented foreigners come into our country. I'm just saying, but except they're South African. They live here. Mara. Batlisitse satane wa bona wa ko di bundusung. Mosa momo Josie. And in the Bundus where they come from, okay? In the Bundus where they come from, they were despised. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that their witchcraft was despised to a point where in the Bundus, people would thoroughly get killed for getting busted doing sorcery. That is still a thing to this day. So Mobatswang thing, they were not liked. I am not against immigration, right? But like when stuff is undocumented, literally you're changing countries' voting demographics and everything. You are changing the makeup of a country. You're changing their spiritual climate. You're changing the majority, the default religion. You are changing so many things that could mess with the future of the country in totality. You are changing the values of a country. When you don't vet people, when you don't check people, when you don't try to find out what in the world under heaven they're into. So not everybody that comes from the Bundus should not be in Johannesburg. That's what I'm getting at. It's not everybody that is a little devil worshiper. My grandmother was a migrant laborer to a certain extent, but she was not into this filth, at least not at some point. She was one of the victims of witchcraft in her village where she stayed, to a point of being super paranoid now that she was in Soweto. She was always teaching us how to protect ourselves against ghosts, how to do things we never saw in Johannesburg. We never saw them. Like Papa Soweto, I don't have a history. None of my cousins, none of us have a history of finding funny little entities that go bump in the night in our bedrooms at night while we sleep. But my grandmother was always akuza something because she was very, very paranoid because she grew up amidst entities. Because she lived in a village where people were just practicing left, right, and center. Where human sacrifices happen easily. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So, undocumented human individuals, tantamount equivalent of them, coming, piercing past our toll gates, otherwise known as borders, come and they lodge in the seats. They're warm, they're vacant in corporate South Africa, and then they go and they practice that ridiculous rubbish that they were practicing in their bundus. Do you understand? In the office. They go and they bewitch a colleague on the left. They go and they bewitch a colleague on the right. They go and they bewitch their boss. If their boss says, they go and they bewitch their subordinates, their colleagues. Then not only do they bewitch people, because they were the witches that left the town. Witches left the town. And then they came to a new town to bewitch some more in this new town. Yeah, that's what's good. They then also find recruits. So, in the days of my grandmother came here and was out on some be careful, there's ghosts in these streets. And all of us were like, okay, when we see them, we'll be certain to take your advice. Go. Okay, mama. And then a whole bunch of my grandmothers, like the people like my grandmother, came into Joburg, and this time we're not warning people how to protect yourselves from these ghosts, but they were teaching people how to create them. And you see, these things take time, like building an empire, a legacy, one brick at a time. Rome was not built in one day. So the satanic climate of South Africa right now was not built in one day. All the way back in the days of my grandmother, there was already this influx into suburbia and into, I guess, the main city and whatnot by migrant laborers that were used to a whole bunch of poverty. Do you understand? And then they come to the inner city, and whatever it is that they were using back in their bundus to get ahead in life, they then decided that they're going to use it here now. And they've been doing it for long, and in so doing it for long have been establishing entire covens, cults. They have been grooming people. They have been proliferating generational curses in children that they're giving birth to. They have been training people sorcery, and so now they're being born in Soweto. Now they're being born in Sandton. They're being born in Bryanston. Now they're being born in Cape Town. Now they're being born in Durban. Like, in other words, they come from the Bundus. They live there like they what do you call this? Great-great-grandfathers or whatever. But we go to Bundusung, but like Joburg. And then they made babies. They continue to grow families. So their kids are basically 100% citizens of Johannesburg. Yeah. However, they have inherited their father's filth. their mother's filth. They have inherited their wicked moms and dads' filth. It proliferates. It's like a spawn, that just grows more bountifully, mushrooms more mercilessly into the future because of people coming from that particular seed. So while I acknowledge that witches, when they flee or they get out from rusty dusty, from the rural areas, that they tended to be in flight first and foremost because people hated them. They were trying to kill them for doing what they're doing. They come to Joburg and don't nobody know that this person is a witch. They still are maintained as a witch. They have a whole family. That family has a family. That family then goes on to have a family. And then you've got, like I said, this generational curse that is coursing through the veins of kids that came from that origin, but that are now in Jozi Maboneng. And so we're dealing with this flagrant display of spiritual sultry adultery against Jesus Christ in our cities. An environment where it was not thriving as much anymore. It's literally an invasion. It's an invasion. Bazelwe Pimville labantu. But abogogo babo, they were from Rustenburg, they were from Limpopo, they were from the Bundus all across this country. And they came into Johannesburg, but they inherited their grandmother's evil streak. And so they are just bewitching colleagues on the left and on the right of them. These migrant laborers that came in, even some of them are still today migrant laborers, in the sense that it's not they were not always around in the city. They were not always around Mosoweto Joburg. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. They come from Rustenburg. They come from Rustenburg. Like, I knew of a chick at MTN on Limpopo, Kodi Plazing says that thing, like where it is that she grew up making mud huts and everything. Like, yeah, Tara, the type she grew up in that type of establishment and she ended up working at MTN, and lo and behold, she rocked up in Johannesburg, stayed here she studied here. She studied here and then stayed here, got a job here in Joburg, and then once she was employed in corporate South Africa, made a decision that, guess what, I'm going to go to Karabo. I'm going to bewitch Karabo so she doesn't get a husband. I'm going to make doubly sure that Karabo does not get married and that her career is thwarted. There's a guy that I dated that was from KwaMaphumulo, Amabundus, Amaplazi, KwaZulu Natal. I told you guys, there's 3 major cities in this country, and everybody floods to them when they're trying to find work. And the easiest way to flood to the inner cities is if you come from that particular province, or close to that particular province. This guy was already from KwaZulu Natal, but he was from the Bundus of KwaZulu Natal. He wasn't from Durban, right? He wasn't from the inner city, and he was like, I'm sorry, this is too dry for me. I need to go and get myself a career. By all means, if you want to grow and make your life a little bit better in the burbs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, by all means, bagamara oskatutlisa nyoko ele yako di plazing yako le ruling. Mohara in a city, you're gonna mess with the peace that frankly all of us have created. Like, what are you doing? Wenzan Lomun Lona left KwaMaphumulo yake waya at Durban first, and then Durban was not big enough. He wanted the real big chunky Johannesburg experience. Finally moved to Johannesburg, also through education, studied through an institution in Johannesburg, and then just stayed. He lodged Marana. He never ever left KwaMaphumulo Emfa. He never left all of that demonic worship of the Bundus. He never left it. Wazozama lenja lena ugyo chatisa ngenkani ngekorobela icheri. That was always all up in these Soweto streets, like proper. Alola Dandefela, some snob from Soweto, and decided to go to me. I'm going to give you the experience of Amaplazi Wetu. I am going to put you in the hardship of women abakotisayo in the Bundus. I want women to be as raw and as undiluted by the sun and by the streets and by these lights. It's electricity. I don't want umfazi that's diluted by that. A typical Blazi woman, but I like you. You're pretty, so I'm gonna make you Blazi. I'm gonna make you Blazi. I'm gonna make you like the raw virgins of KwaMaphumulo, Karabo, Ngzokuthatha, and I'm going to make you umfazi wamZulu. I ndoda yazi, thank God I got born again. Because if I wasn't saved, if I was not saved, angazi who I'd be married to today. I do not know who I would be married to today if I was not born again. Y'all need to understand, I have had more migrant laborers put sorcery on me than I would frankly appreciate. There was another guy, Limpopo, right? Strangely, he belonged to the same neighborhood as the chick the one on Limpopo that was my friend at MTN decided to put witchcraft on me so I don't get married. Yeah, when this guy started working at MTN, this chick was like, oh my goodness, whoa, it's been a minute. Turns out they went to the same high school in that like bundu that they come from. Both of them migrant laborers made their way into Johannesburg, and then both of them literally struck the same freaking chick, the same woman. Yeah, the chick didn't want me getting married, and ironically, the opposite of that sorcery happened in the guy. He wanted to marry me. So and I was out here getting these strange dreams where I'm out here married to a man that I don't want to be married to, and my family members appear to be content with it. Did not understand that dream for what it was. It was only much later that I came to learn that that was Korobela Keboloyi. So I frankly had been afflicted by sorcery that had the same origin, Kwako Limpopo, in that same neighborhood. They came from the same neighborhood, went to the same high school, recognized each other later on, and both of them went Ngaraki video game on me. Now it has spread and grown fangs and long nails, scratchy fingers in not South Africa, in Johannesburg, in the main cities. And now there are literally hauntings in the cities in a way that historically all the stuff like proper, when you drive out to Rustenburg, you be out just seeing ghosts in the road. Now you be out just seeing them like slap bang on Bayers Nadia, like next to a garage. It's all bright. Like Yashina, there's like 10 townhouse complexes around. Like Yonke, it's just well lit going all the way into Northumberland is this road. Kotaguna Coast. Kanjan. Concrete jungle is Johannesburg. And yet we got ghosts. These migrant laborers that brought them home. These migrant laborers that brought them into our streets. They were like undocumented foreigners that are out here creating a whole military base here, China, inside America. That's exactly what they were. They brought their darkness here. And because they were not vetted, because nobody was trying to figure out what's going on, they also changed the religious constitution of the cities. The spiritual constitution of the cities. We were largely Christian, held on to Christian Judeo principles. Those were our values in the cities. We were raised like that. That's what's good. Ibo Labantu, that came from the Bundus, that thoroughly reintroduced that nonsense of ancestral worship into our lives. Y'all know it's a thing. All of these randos that have always been guitaring over drums, Kodi Plazing, because that's all they could do. My electricity, they rocked up here and they were like, you guys have forgotten your roots, and we allowed ourselves to get taken away by that tsunami. We were worshipping Amasontweni, content with Jesus only. We were literally worshipping in the Kosoweto, in the in Johannesburg. We were worshipping in churches, content. Mina Ankulanga, subjugated to tyranny, guys, of ancestors. Messi Soko AME church every Sunday. That's what y'all need to understand. And there was never any mixing of ancestors with that stuff. It was this thing, Yahoo mixa. Literally, it's something in you. In Nodilas. It's day before yesterday. It broke up day before yesterday. How did it come back? All of these randos, like I said, Kodi Plazing, where it is that they were always practicing. It's all that they leaned on. They were always chanting and grunting at the moon. They came to Johannesburg and they were like, hello, guys, you've forgotten your roots. You let these white people indoctrinate you. Jesus is a white man that doesn't understand the black cause. So really and truly, you need to go back to basics. Namtatu credo mutowan. You went and grabbed all of these people with their nasty influence, and now you have apostatized ever so haughtily against the God of the universe. And with your apostasy, have you now opened more and more portals inside Johannesburg, in your inner cities, in your basically center of industry, in your countries, and so decimated your nation's economies with darkness. You have literally caused bumps in the night, in the streets, in your countries. You have made your lands insufferable. You've made literally Johannesburg the center of it, just like somewhere in Jefelakole Ruling, Lesenang Tar, Lako Rustenburg. You did that. You done put Johannesburg on a gravel road, making it hard for your cars to drive there on, causing a whole bunch of skid marks and insurance not paying because your vehicle's tire tracks were not thick enough on all of that gravel road. That's what's good. You went and grabbed Leroy, we're taking face beat powder, Johannesburg, and you expected that you're gonna survive as an entire metropolis proper. The country's dying because and you've like haunted our inner cities. You've haunted our inner cities. You've created eerie, spooky outcomes for people's lives that are only representative of those that which used to be experienced by Batubakuri Plazing Fela. People in the rural areas were the ones that just went missing. Don't nobody know what happened. People in the rural areas were the ones that were shape-shifting. People in the rural areas were the ones that were burying children every 3 weeks. People in the rural areas, because of human sacrifices, rituals, people in the rural areas were the ones that were met with so much poverty and indiscretion, unable to go anywhere, but they blocked and but they frozen straight too, but move, and everybody being aware to a point of avoiding them. Lest lento le empete, lest this thing that has stricken them should strike you. So you avoid them because they've been bewitched. It was only people in the rural areas that experienced things like those. Literally, to a point where even our old school shows, Lisilo Rula, blah blah, all of these shows, that long ago, whenever there were hauntings, whenever there were hauntings or funny little eerie activity, these shows were always aired in regions of the country that were generally blasé. They were generally blasé because that is where the stuff usually happened, largely. I mean, of course, people have always been practicing nasty, dingy things in Soweto. Witchcraft has always been ubiquitously practiced, but just the concentration of it to a point of creating the kind of frozen life that I have right now, this eerie, freaky, crazy thing that's happening with my life, that was a rural area epidemic only. But look at how it's out here chilling in Jozi Maboneng now. You have created a maplazi out of concrete jungle, Johannesburg, just like that. Now, tati gravel. Now, beg a slap bang on bears, no dear, and you expect to go to Nizoba right, Texas. Niyahlanya ma South Africans nonke nisangene grand shop ngifila ngathi angaziwa ngikhona nani even at all in the first place. Lelo Johannesburg ikawufela ebile expect lo toba le country you have bewitched all of Johannesburg and anticipate you're going to have a whole country. This is the center of trade and industry in the entire country, and you have made it Rustenburg, center of iplazi meta cow and something cackling in the morning at Vosa ngoba wena udula ko diplazing. Let's move to the next part.